How you doing? Welcome to In-Game Strategies. I'm Tim Lawson, and I'm going to be talking about representation of God today. The question is, what do we look at representation as? A lot of people are still upset about the elections because they did not see the person that they wanted in there. And they keep on saying that we want to see somebody that represent us. But what do that look like? Who really represents us? As a believer, who represents you? First of all, you're a reflection of God. If you're looking at this, you're a chosen one, you're a reflection of God. And who do you want to reflect and represent you? I'd rather have the living God to represent me than anybody on any podium. Let me tell you something. All these offices, all these so-called resumes and stuff like that, this stuff is man-made. It's not God made. So we're going to go through the scripture and break this down. And knowing that your representation should come from up here, not for whoever sits in that White House, not for whoever sits in any seats of authority. Yes, they have authority and they are some type of celebrity, but remember, the selection was that. The Electoral College selects who's going to be in that seat. So it's nothing you or I could do as far as that. But I just want to let y'all know is that you cannot look for representation outside of yourself. Everything starts from inside. It don't come from outside. So I'm going to start with the scripture. 2 Timothy chapter 3. I'm going to read the whole scripture and I'm going to break it down piece by piece. It says, godless in the last days. All right, starting from verse 1. But understand this, that the last days there will come a time of difficulty. For the people will be lovers of thyself. Now let me say that again. For the people will be lovers of thyself. For the people will be lovers of thyself, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not living good. So that was Second Timothy chapter 3, verses 1 to 3 that I just read. Now, I'm just going to break this down. We disobedient to our parent. Who is our first parent? We're disobedient to God. We put these officials on the pedestal and not hearing what God said. And my reflection is in this, and I don't like it because heartless, unpleasing, slanderous, a lot of that stuff is me, and I admit to say that. Arrogant, proud, lovers of money. This is crazy. So when we look at representation, right here in them first three verses, is not representing God. Well, let me go to verse 4. Treacherous, reckless, swollen in conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. Verse 5. Having to the appearance of godliness, but denying the power, avoid such people. So God is saying avoid such people, having the appearance of godliness. Now, look at what's going on. Who had the appearance of godliness throughout this whole selection period? Who was, running, we could say both people. God told us to avoid such people who putting themselves up here. They putting themselves up here. So like I said, I'm asking yourself, what is the image that you want to see? Because that's not the image that God wants us to see. He told us to avoid such people. The image that you want to live by is the images in this word, not the images on TV. We got duped. You want to see a person that look like you in power when you are the person that look like you in power. Let me say that again. You want to see the person that looks like you in power when you are the person that looks like you in power. You're not powerless. You don't have to look towards them for strength. You got strength. So we're going to go to verse 6. For amongst them who creep into the households and capture weak women. Let me say that again. Verse 6, for amongst them are those who creep into households and capture weak women, burdened with sin and led astray by various passions. A lot of times, I hate to say it, like we let the enemy, we're not protecting our women. We're not protecting our women because we let the enemy come in and capture our women with various passions. And that's what happened because it's hard to even have a dialogue. Right now, it's a war of the sexes between men and women. That's what it is. You can't tell a woman the truth. You can't tell a man the truth. It's a war. You can't tell young people what's going on. You can't even speak to older people. It's like you're in this box because you don't want to offend nobody. But the word said, for amongst them, who is them? The enemy. Amongst them, for amongst them are those who creep into households. TV is covert for creeping into your household and capturing your wife, your daughter, capturing weak women and burdened with sin and led astray. All these shows is leading your women astray by various passions. Verse 7, always learning to never able to arrive at the knowledge of truth. Verse 7, always learning and never able to arrive at the knowledge of truth. This is what this internet does. Myself included. I'm always trying to learn strategies, trying to learn different things, but I'm never arriving at the truth because I'm never referencing the word. Verse 8, just as Jannes and Jambres opposed Moses, so these men also oppose the truth. Men corrupt in the mind and disqualifies regarding the faith. So verse 8, it says, just as Jannes and Jambres opposed Moses, so these men also oppose the truth. So as men, as you have people opposing Moses, which Moses was the prophet, it's also men opposing the truth. Remember, everything that's truth is bad now. You can't tell the truth to nobody. It's all about feelings. It's all about perception. But this is not a strategy for your life. You got to be truthful for yourself and create a strategy on how to make your life better. And I'm talking to myself right now. And I'm going to leave with verse 9. But they will not get very far, for their folly will be plain to all, as it was of those men. But they will not get far, for their folly will be plain to all, as of those men. So basically, what the Lord is saying, in these last days, you're looking for representation, right? But this is not the representation you need. They will not get very far because the folly will be plain to all, as it was to those men, because men are evil in the mind, evil, corrupted, letting their women be consumed by the enemy. We're losing sight of what we need to be, who we need to be. So I am going to end this right now. I'm going to come back to verse 10 next time I'm on here. But I wanted to let y'all know how powerful you are. Who do you want to represent you? That's the question. Have a good night.